What's going on, everyone? Just gonna make a quick video here. I'm doing a blower motor on a 2007 Crown Victoria police interceptor. So I noticed this is a little different than a lot of the videos out there, so I figured I'd make one real quick. This is an 07. So same location, passenger side, fender area in the engine compartment. Same 4 bolts. Pull the wiring harness off. One little, those guys. And then obviously unclip your power connector, slide them up out of the way. Here's the old blower motor here. This was inside. This came from between 2 of the housings. It was just kind of hanging there, so I pulled it off because I don't want it getting stuck in the blower motor. But this is the old blower motor, probably original. Definitely see it's, where's the video? There we go. Yeah, the brushes are probably well spent. Oh yeah, absolutely. So old blower motor, 8mm bolts, 4 of them. This little guy comes off. This is just a holder for sits like that. And it's a holder for the wiring harness. So it's on top, just don't forget this little piece. Let's step to the back of the car and I'll show you all the parts you'll need. I get everything from Ford. Ford still sources most of this, so I went with all Ford Motorcraft parts. New gasket, little retainer clip, blower motor, brand new. Ford Motor Company, there's your part number. And then I just got a new squirrel cage because I just figured it's better to get the new one rather than trying to rip that old one off of there in case the plastic's brittle, you break it or something. But here's your squirrel cage part number from Ford. And then here's your blower motor part number. And then here are your part numbers for the actual pieces you'll need. Alright, so there's your part numbers. That's what the total ran me today. So then reassembly is exactly the same as disassembly. Put your gasket on, well, put your squirrel cage on first. This one uses a little retainer clip. So there's a little retainer clip that goes on the end of this. It's not a threaded piece in the 07 model. I think in the later models they ended up going to a threaded piece. And it's actually a nut then. But this is a retainer clip for the 07 that just pushes on once you have your squirrel cage on. This is, it's flattened out on the one corner. So the squirrel cage can only go on one direction. Yeah, so you get that guy on there. And then put the retainer on. Any questions, let me know. Hopefully that's helpful. A couple part numbers, a couple visuals. It's literally a half-hour job, if that. So I was having a problem where sometimes the blower motor would work, and then sometimes it wouldn't work at all. It would just completely not come on. So this is easier than the relay. And considering when it did work, it still worked in all the different settings from low to high. I don't believe it's the relay. I think it was just the motor brushes are going bad and the motor itself's worn out. So I think sometimes it just wouldn't want to spin. So hopefully this works. If it ends up being something else, I'll update the comments. I'm going to add this into the video, real quick reinstallation point. So we got the squirrel cage on the blower motor, retainer on, and then the gasket. These little holes in the gasket are actually for the support pins on the housing here. They're not for the screw holes. So if you flip this around, you can actually get these holes to line up with the screw holes. Don't do that, it's confusing. The screws are supposed to go between these guys. See them all? They all line up perfectly. All right, so these holes in the gasket make it so you can put the gasket on here just like this before you put it in there. That way it doesn't shift or move on you. All right, so that's a little point there real quick. Okay, so we're all back together. We got the piece that holds the wiring harness. Don't forget this guy. And then this guy just goes in here like that. And then this will plug into this underneath of it. Make sure your car is not on or anything when you do this. Tease this guy on there. This is a pretty tight plug. Makes it kind of hard to do it with two hands, but it does click like that. And then you're good to go. So your 4 bolts are back in. As you can see, the gasket's in square. This bolt down here is kind of hard to get to, so I used a smaller guy. 8 mil again, it was fine. But we're all back together. Okay, one last import here is this guy. I didn't have this guy available earlier. I was fixing him up a little bit. This little thing had a split here, so I glued them back together right on this nub, and then I conditioned it with some rubber conditioner, or mink oil actually. But this guy is the one part, and here's the actual part number, that is discontinued. So this part number is fully discontinued from Ford. You cannot get these. So you gotta be real careful with this guy. What this guy does is he slides on here like that, and then this guy goes into the hole on the blower motor underneath here, just pushes up in there, and then this guy loops around the top. And so what this does is air actually blows out of here, air comes out and blows into the motor and cools the motor. So that's this thing's purpose. But just be gentle when you're taking it off. Again, mine's probably original and it's in fine shape. As long as you're gentle with them, you'll be fine. But these things you cannot source. So if anybody can find one and wants to post a link for it, let me know. You'll find places that say they're in stock, but then you'll never get them because they can't actually get them from Ford or Dorman or wherever. So yeah, it's just this little rubber guy. Just be careful with them. I'm going to squeeze them down in the hole under here and then get this looped around. I'll actually pull this plug off. You want the loop behind the plug, and it'll be good to go. So last little added bit there. Okay, and there you go. That's what it looks like installed. Pushed onto there. Try and get this down under there. Snugged up in here. You just gotta tease that first guy in there. First rib. It'll go up inside, and then it'll stay in there. And then you put the guy around it. Put the plug back on, and you're good to go. Hopefully this is helpful.